Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in Goldmaking, presented by darkshorecapital. Today is September 10th, 2018, and here's the market update. It's looking like BFA materials are on a bit of a downturn. Most notably is the incredible decrease in price of Midnight Salmon over the past week. I did get some comments on the video previously because if you remember from last week, I had only been tracking Midnight Salmon for just that week, and so we didn't have a historical view, and it seems like it's been dropping at about 40% or so every week. So I guess that's something that we need to be paying attention to. Interestingly enough, the Legion materials have gone up pretty significantly. Kind of long-term older world stuff is staying fairly flat, and WoW tokens also staying fairly flat. Quick bit of news for the week. Uldir Mythic release is this week. If you're watching this tonight, it'll be happening on Tuesday or Wednesday for you EU folks. Some pretty cool stuff that Method's doing this time around. It's unrelated to gold making, but just as a player, I think what they're doing this time around is pretty cool. If you don't know or are interested in that, go look it up. Warfronts are like kind of in full swing. That one pretty much caught everyone off guard. Well, not everyone off guard. Some people definitely made a bunch of money off of it. Certainly caught me off guard as being kind of the big thing to do. I unfortunately don't have a lot of information or stuff to talk about in regards to Warfronts from a gold making perspective. I did try and make an effort to do some stuff with them over the past couple days, but I kept running into just incredibly disheartening TSM4 bugs, but we won't get into that here. Lastly, on the news, there's this awesome post that Billis Onyxia made on the WoW Economy Reddit, just kind of going over your basic if functions within TSM4. The stuff is pretty powerful stuff, and I would highly recommend for any aspiring goblin or gold maker to read through this and really understand it, because you can do some really powerful stuff. And that's the thing, going through and reading this kind of stuff and getting the theory, it also gives you the chance to have some inspiration of like, okay, so how am I going to use this? And you can really, I don't know, it's good. The stuff is good. You should read it. It's worth the time. Bills knows what he's talking about, so you should totally read it. Okay, so part 3 on the Flask thing. I've got some screenshots over on the right of some profits from my various realms. We'll just go through the bullet points. Definitely made gold so far. It's still kind of up in the air as far as like an end-all be-all results, but I will say that results have kind of varied a little bit across servers. It's kind of interesting. Like my main server on Proudmoore, I've barely even listed any because they just didn't meet my posting requirements. But just about all the other servers that I've been on, both low, medium, and high pop, have had some fairly decent success. I guess if I had to say, I'd say the low and mid pop servers I had a little bit more success because I just had more liquid gold to spend on those servers. I wasn't quite as diligent as I would like to have been over the past week posting things, so these results may be a little more skewed than if I had been more on top of things, but maybe with the next week with Mythic coming and kind of the second wave of raid consumable madness, maybe we'll get a little bit more interesting stuff to talk about there. And like I said earlier, I think it's still too early to declare a result. However, like I said at the beginning, definitely made gold, so it might not be kind of as guaranteed a gold maker as I might have made it out to be when I started talking about this initially, but you know, I made gold. Like, there's the evidence. It's right there. You can't argue with that. We're going to keep this one a bit short today, but moving on to some Q&A. I just pulled these questions from the old Reddit. First question, what would you want from a new auction house? I kind of more cheekily always frame these questions with reference to just asking me personally, so I'm going to answer it as such. I would love a new auction house from WoW. I assume this means like on the default UI, because it definitely needs an update. I would love it to just look like TSM3, because in my mind, that's kind of the pinnacle of WoW auction house view, auction house looking. Along the same lines, mobile auction house, how valuable would it be to you? Not terribly valuable. I didn't really use it when it existed, mostly because anytime I wanted to access the auction house from a mobile standpoint, I would just use my phone. I've got a neat little setup there that I can access my computer back home and just kind of use TSM in a little more rudimentary way. But I'm sure we'll get to a video on that at some point. But So for me, not really. Lastly, how to determine whether it's optimal to play the auction house instead of farming. Well, that's actually really easy, and I'll explain why. But basically, which one do you enjoy more? Because frankly, I don't think you're ever going to have enough of a difference one way or another to override your enjoyment of a video game. Like, if it's a pain in the butt for you to do auction house playing, and you would rather be farming and you actually get enjoyment from farming and it still makes you money, you should do that one because it's a game and you should enjoy it. And the more you enjoy something, the better you'll do it and the more money you'll make doing it anyway. So that's my answer. All right. Again, like I said, bit of a quick episode this week, but I did want to mention that the podcast, more formalized podcast thing, seems to be rolling. I tried to check up on the Google Play thing. I couldn't find any results on there yet, so I think we're still waiting on approval there. But the iTunes, if you go on iTunes and search for Darkshore Capital, you can find me there and subscribe via that way if you feel like listening to me talk to you in your car, for example, while you're commuting to work. So there you go. That's the news from the Darkshore Capital front. I'm going to try and do some more gold making this week and get some interesting stuff, maybe some good spreadsheets out for you guys in the next week. But until then, if you have any questions, you can, as always, leave a comment on the video here. Follow me on Twitter and ask me a question there, or you can always email me, darkshorecapital@gmail.com. Until next time, #for the gold.